One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can restore. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Whistlers report he pays his way. A legend in the making, day by day.
Shit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful, thirsty Thursday morning. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. Much love, honor, respect to everybody. Let's get it. As you guys can see, we have a big news morning this morning. Operation Epic Fury escalates, as well as Hezbollah launches 200 rockets over there into Iran, and then into Israel, and then Iranian sleeper cell threats here in the United States. We have Trump actually speaking on the sleeper cell threats and or concerns. But we have a ton of things that we're going to be talking about this morning. So let's give you guys a chronological breakdown of what we're going to be discussing on this morning's show for the hour. Trump says Iran has lost their Navy and Air Force. Yes, I think that's something that we already knew. First of all, their Navy was decent, but their Air Force was basically lackluster. Their Air Force really actually was dependent on their ballistic missile program, believe it or not. That is their offense and defense kind of thing. Then we have about 140 U.S. troops injured as Iran conflict continues, the Pentagon says. It says, we are now learning about 140 troops have been injured as conflict in Iran continues. The Pentagon announced on Tuesday. Officials recently said the, quote, vast majority of the injuries were minor. And of the estimated 140 who were injured, 108 have now returned to active duty. What? Sounds a little crazy. And then we have Iran war. Trump addresses sleeper cells as well as Strait of Hormuz concerns, as you guys know. And then alleged Iranian drone threat from offshore vessels targets California. Now, it was a little bit of a conversation starter yesterday. Everyone in the media was kind of discussing about this alleged Iranian ship that, was off the coast or whatever the case is, and are able to use drones and send them off and hit us in California. I highly doubt those things, just saying. They can't even keep their own lights on, their own internet on. I don't think they're going to be focusing on, they don't even have ships, that we just destroyed 51 of them. Anyways, breaking from 10 hours ago, this was at midnight, I guess. Oil jumps back above $100 a barrel amid the Iran conflict. Now, it did come down for a short while because Trump was like, hey, we might be done with this very soon. So oil prices started plummeting, by 30%, came back down. And then, of course, since it hasn't necessarily, we don't really see an end to it yet, it's not surprising that the oil prices went right back up. And then, of course, like I told you guys about Hezbollah, launches 200 rockets at northern Israel. As you guys know, Hezbollah basically runs the territory above Israel, which is Lebanon. Over there in Beirut, Lebanon in particular, is where they're talking about this whole thing right now. Then we have another breaking thing from 35 minutes ago, by the way. Iran's new supreme leader issues his very first statement. So we're about to hear all of this very, very soon. So let's go ahead and pretty much get into our call to actions, and then we'll go ahead and get right into all of this. Make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, reporting world news, geopolitics, American news, American politics, breaking news, all of it. And yeah, man, it's a great way to get a hold of, well, I'm going to get, you know, all the information that you guys see in the last 24 hours, essentially. So, but also, you know, we do membership programs here. We got Saturday morning, not this Saturday, unfortunately, because we're going to be busy on the campaign trail. We have to be up there with Bama Carey. It just is what it is this week. But we're still doing members only this week on Sunday. But normally it's on Saturday. So please consider becoming a member starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So I very much appreciate you guys becoming members and staying members. A little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail, man. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And also, side note, we have a Discord server for all of you legends where we continue the conversation after the show, and we all, you know, send our information back and forth and hang out and stuff like that. Go in the video description down below of any live video, and we have that invite link for you guys for the Discord. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen. And, of course, at any time, you guys can donate to them, and I can get 100% of the proceeds, as well as I will read out loud your message just like a super chat. So I got my email up on my phone, ready to go if anything does come our way. Good morning to all of you legends, by the way. Thank you all for being here. We got Charles Darwin in the building. We got Easy Frank as well as Jimmy Mack. Shout out to you guys. We got Gary. We got SST. Good morning to you. We got Rabbit of Chaos as well. We got Lappy. Good morning to you. We got Naomi. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Good morning, and thank you for moderating this morning. We got America Uncensored as well as Bosnia, right? Okay. Right. I think I said that right. Great to see you in the chat, bro. Let's see. We got Pops, the Clubber, my man. Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well as Mountain Woman as well. We got Steve Easy in the chat, my man. Good morning. We got Dirty as well. Thank you for all being here. Steve Posey, good morning. Good morning. We're scrolling down as fast as humanly possible, guys. I'm trying to say hi to everybody. We got Big Al in the chat. Good morning to you, kind sir. Great to see you as well. We're getting caught up. All right, looks like we're almost caught up. We got Charlie in the building. Shout out to you. As well as No. Great to see you in the chat. All right, you guys. We're going to get right into this. Trump says Iran has lost their Navy and Air Force. Well, we kind of already knew that, but let's go ahead and get into it. Can't hear anything yet.
And as you know, we're doing something that nobody ever thought was possible to do. Our military is the best. It's the most...
I really hate when they do these, you know, Trump speaking next to a big-ass jet where all we hear is the fucking jet. Come on, man. Can you please just walk away a little bit so that we don't have to hear Air Force One in the background?
Powerful in the world, and they're hitting them very hard. This is 47 years.
What's up, Dylan? Great to see you in the chat, by the way. We got PharmaCat as well. Great to see you up in the chat, Cat. Hopefully you're enjoying your Thirsty Thursday so far.
Of abuse and killing lots of people, killing and maiming lots of people. What is it, Peter?
What more do you need to do militarily for this
Shout out to you, Randy. Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
operation to end?
More of the same, and we'll see how that all comes out. Right now, they've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all. They have no radar. Their leaders are gone.
Shit.
And we could do a lot worse to one another. We're leaving certain things that if we take them out, or we could take them out by this afternoon, in fact, within an hour, they literally would never be able to build that country back.
A new report shows, a new report says that the military investigation has found that the United States struck the school in Iran. As Commander-in-Chief, you take responsibility for that.
That is what
Okay, so what she's asking in particular is the Iranian school that we blew up with a Tomahawk, and she's asking, are you going to take responsibility for that?
As Commander-in-Chief, do you...
For what?
For the strike on the school in Iran. A new report says the military investigation has found it was the United States that struck the school.
I don't know about it.
He said, I don't know about it. All right, motherfucker.
Stop the cap.
You know, I really would appreciate, and especially in warfare, you know what I mean? There's going to be accidents. There's going to be fuck-ups. There's going to be problems along the way. And I think that us Americans are big boys and girls, and we can withstand the truth. When there's something that is fucked up and something goes wrong, we should be able to have that information. Like, hey, you know what? We fucked up on this. We thought 10 years ago, this was an actual military used for holding missiles or whatever the case is. But that was 10 years ago. We found out 10 years ago, they turned it into a school on the actual base. And the United States does the exact same thing too. So we have schools on our bases and shit.
Are you talking to the CEOs of various oil companies, encouraging them to use the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, I think they should. I think they should. I think they should use it.
They laid mines in the Strait of
In my
Hormuz.
opinion, look, we took out just
Exactly. Bad target information. That does happen.
about all of their mine ships in one night. We're up to boat number 60. I didn't realize they had that big a navy. I would say
Wow, they're up to 60 ships. So the last report was 51 plus ships. Okay, now it's at 60.
we're up to boat number 60. I didn't
Boat number 60. Wow. We got Brother Pitbull in the chat. Good morning. Actually, good afternoon to you over there in the UK across the pond from us.
realize they had that big a navy. I would say it was big and ineffective. But every one of their ships, just about all of their navy is gone. Bottom of the sea.
What's up, Joseph? Up there in Canada, one of our favorite snow Mexicans, by the way. Great to see you in the chat.
Laid any mines in the Strait of Hormuz?
We don't think so.
Is Senator Thune listening to you when you say you want to pass the Save America Act? He says there aren't the votes to do it right now. What's your response?
Well, he's got to be a leader. You know, if he's a leader, he's got to get him. It's the most popular bill I've ever seen put before Congress. And it's voter ID and it's voter. You have to be able to be a citizen to vote. It's called citizenship. And we're also adding in no men playing in women's sports, no transgender mutilization of our children, and no mail-in ballots, fake mail-in ballots. We have none of that, except in the case of the military, etc.
The military, people that are traveling, and disabled people.
It is the Save America Act. It's the most popular bill I think I've ever put before Congress.
Can you declare victory in this war if the supreme leader remains the Ayatollah's son?
I don't want to comment on that. I don't want to comment. But
Well, that's actually smart play for him to not comment on that, actually.
I will tell you, I just spoke with various countries, the leaders of various countries. You'll have a list. And they said they've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, no kidding, Steve Posey. Like, what are you going to do about this situation? Why would I tell you, out of all people, why would I tell you, you know?
And I built it during my first term, and I used it. I didn't realize I was going to use it this much, but we have the greatest military in the world by far. Nobody close.
About a domestic terrorist attack by Iran?
What's up, Orlander?
We're not invited to the Shield of the Americas. Mexico, Brazil, and Colombia were not invited to the Shield of the Americas. Why was that? And could they come in the future to the event?
I think they were invited. Maybe they didn't come. I think they were. I get along very well with all of them.
In Iraqi parliament, few days, member slogan, "Take to America, take to Israel." What is your response to them? What is your message for Iraqi government?
What did he say?
In Iraq,
He said, what did he say? Shit.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
That shit is funny.
parliament, slogan, "Date of America, date of Israel." Member of the parliament.
That's to America.
Yeah, exactly. Saying death to America, death to United States, or to Israel. What do you have to say about that? And regards to Iraq, by the way.
That's not a nice question.
He said that's not a nice question. Moves on.
After you told them
What's up, Jason? Great to see you in the chat, bro. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
commerce ties with them, are they cooperating with the United States? Spain.
No, they're not.
Real quick, we got Tiffany as well as Blake's Pipes, by the way. And, hey, you know what I just remembered? I meant to give a big shout out, but my man Motobomb Virginia and Carney Vanguard sent over a raid this morning from the coffee crew. So I very much appreciate you guys over there. And welcome in, Blakes. Great to see you in the chat, my man. And welcome into the whole community of, the coffee crew on their side and the Insane Wheels family on my side.
I think they're not cooperating at all. Spain, I think they've been very bad. Very bad. Not good at all. We may cut off trade with Spain.
What's up, Jack? Good morning and blessings all the way around, kind sir. Great to see you and happy Thirsty Thursday.
You guys all trade with them?
I don't know what Spain's doing. They've been very bad to NATO. They get protected. They don't want to pay their fair share. And they've been that way for many years, actually. Let me give you
Okay, P, you know exactly where I'm at.
the good news. Let me give you the good news. The people of Spain are fantastic. The leadership, like you. The leadership, not so good.
What's up, Tootie Bug? Great to see you in the chat as well. Good morning.
Lebanon is under attack, and Hezbollah is making dangers for the Lebanese, especially the Lebanese Christians. What is your message for Lebanon?
Well, we're working on it very hard. We love Lebanon. We love the people of Lebanon. And we're working
What's up, Chasing Ghost? Good morning.
very hard. We got to get rid of the Hezbollah. Has been a disaster for many years.
Okay, so what he was getting at right there is you got to remember, do you remember the ceasefire that Israel recently had with Lebanon and the Lebanese military? Well, that's with the government. Hezbollah is not a part of the government. They're a resistance group, They are also funded by Iran. This is now objective. And ultimately, everything is being funded by, Russia, actually. But yes, Iran does fund the Axis of Resistance, and Hezbollah up there in Lebanon is part of the resistance group against Israel. And so anyways, Hezbollah is very interesting.
About what?
About the new oil refinery going up in price.
Oh, it'll be great. It's going to be the greatest anywhere in the world. There's never been anything like it. It's great that it's going up in Texas. It's very hard to get refineries done.
I missed two very special people. We got Miss Lotus in the chat. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat as well. We got Papa Penguin, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Thirsty Thursday morning so far.
This will be like nothing else ever built. It's a great thing. Thank you for that question. Well, look, we've knocked out their Navy, we've knocked out their Air Force, we've knocked out all of their anti-defense, we've taken out 60 mine boats, 59 mine boats.
He's like, we've destroyed fucking everything. By the way, we have over 100 people in here between the two streams. Make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. If not, if you guys are on the horizontal, make sure you guys hit that like button, man. You don't have to like all this craziness, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So I very much appreciate your laborious work on that. By the way, we haven't done the money part yet. Let's just go ahead and do that real quick, and then we're going to move on into the next story here. So,
all right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
True. All very true. All right, so let me go ahead and pull this up. Give me a second here. For some reason, it's not pulling this up correctly. I'm looking. There it is. Bam. 3, 2, 1. All right.
And we are back.
So about 140 U.S. troops injured as Iran conflict continues, the Pentagon states.
Here for you on Live Now from Fox. Thanks again for continuing to be with us. We want to, again, talk about the very latest coming from the Middle East. More from Fox News.
After 12 days of strikes in the Middle East, President Trump now says the war with Iran could end soon, telling Axios there's
billions and billions.
Practically nothing left
Steve
to
Easy.
target.
Is doing something that nobody ever thought was possible to do.
But is Iran ready to stop fighting? While the U.S.-Israeli operations have limited Iran's ability to strike back, the regime is ratcheting up pressure in another way at the gas pump.
We will never allow even a single liter of oil to pass through the Strait of Hormuz for the benefit of the United States.
The 100
Oh, shit.
100-mile-long strait is one of the most important oil choke points in the world.
Yes, and 20% of basically global oil, 20% passes through right there at the strait.
But it shut down earlier this week after reports of Iran potentially placing mines in the waterway. They're also hitting oil facilities in the region.
I think it shows that they're losing. It shows desperation that they would do that.
In response, the U.S. has taken out dozens of Iranian ships capable of laying mines. President Trump encouraging ships to use the channel, threatening Iran with consequences at a level never seen before.
We take them out, or we could take them out by this afternoon, in fact, within an hour.
Damn, cuz.
They literally would never be able to build that country back.
U.S. gas prices have gone up 17% since the start of the war, but the president predicts those prices will go down soon. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
What's up, sick
Caroline,
bastard?
thanks so much for those updates. So we appreciate it. We want to continue to talk about where we are right now with the war in Iran and the Middle East tensions that continue. I want to show you this from Reuters as Phil Stewart reporting this big exclusive that as many as 150 U.S. troops were wounded.
And right now, the report is roughly about 140. Now, Phil is saying on this exclusive that as many as 150.
It's so far in the war. Two sources familiar with the matter tell Reuters. Let's bring in a special guest right.
They need to fix their audio, bro. That's their side that's crackly and all that shit. We got Cameron in the building. Shout out to you, by the way. Good morning.
Now, reporter Phil Stewart joining us here with
Virginia
a
Chaos, my
breakdown.
man.
Phil, this was a huge number because we were seeing such this big discrepancy from what the Pentagon is saying to what this reporting is now saying.
Right, yeah. Before our report came out, the Pentagon had only disclosed 8 U.S. troops wounded in the conflict at that point.
Yeah, I mean, so here we are with this number. What is the Pentagon saying about this new report?
Now, they were originally saying 8 people dead, and now I think it's up to 9. But we weren't hearing about the people that were hurt or injured.
That you guys have with this number.
Well, what they're saying so far is that the vast majority of these forces that are wounded were only wounded in kind of minor ways, that 108 of them have already returned.
What's up, Moto? Great to see you in the chat, by the way, and thank you for the raid this morning.
To duty, but that leaves significant numbers, dozens, that were more seriously injured. And a lot of the lightly wounded U.S. troops can often be injured by traumatic brain injuries, which actually manifest a lot of their symptoms much later. So this can be the kind of wound, an invisible wound that can manifest over years and become actually much worse over time.
Now, were these injuries in this first wave, the first 24 to 48 hours of the attack?
No, these are injuries that have happened all the way until yesterday. And so...
Okay, so this came out yesterday, for context. This came out last night. So not as of yesterday, but as of Tuesday from this report.
It's a much bigger number than what happened
from the Pentagon
in just the first 48 hours. And, it's worth remembering that Iran continues to fire missiles and drones and strike out all across the Middle East.
Yeah, absolutely. And really paints the picture of just how difficult it is right now for our forces there in the Middle East. But
so this is Phil Stewart or whatever. He's a guy from Reuters or whatever, the non-biased news outlet, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But they are definitely biased, just so you know. Just like the Associated Press says they're not biased, they're absolutely biased. We got Liquored Up with Poncho, my man, coming in hot with the new membership. But I think you've already been a member, bro. So did you switch up your... Yeah, there it is. I see it now. It's coming. It came in late or some bullshit. I don't know. It gave me multiple notifications. But thank you for the 11 months, bro. Let's fucking go. Thank you very much, kind sir. We're definitely going to have to light up for you on that. We got right here, it says the she. You know what I mean? Go ahead and bring that up real quick. Get down with our bad selves and shit. Some counterclockwise tobacco. Here we go. Anyways.
Also talks about, this reporting where the Pentagon not wanting maybe to put out these numbers right away. Why do you feel in this time and age, Phil, that they eventually that number will come out? Why do you think they just don't come out and say it right away?
What's up, brother So Loud? Great to see you in the chat, bro. Shout out to the Boondocks of North Carolina, by the way.
It's hard to know. We're not getting kind of straightforward explanations from the Pentagon about how they're going to release information. We have had a number of press conferences so far, 3, which is quite good for this Pentagon, but they're not.
Yo, Mr. in the chat. Bro, it's been a minute. Great to see you in here, by the way. Hopefully life is going well.
Not been a lot of questions answered at those press conferences. So you're seeing just a handful of questions from reporters only a few times since the war began in a public setting. So really the amount of information that's come out has mostly come out through videos or press releases in very kind of controlled ways that don't allow reporters, kind of to kick the tires and ask questions like, how many casualties are there?
Yeah, absolutely. Now I want to really focus in on the Strait of Hormuz. So much is being centered there.
All of us Americans struggle to say the Strait of Hormuz. It's funny.
Because we are waiting to see, when exactly.
Even me, I've messed it up all the time. I say Hormuz or Hormuz. It's Hormuz, but yeah.
If it's going to be totally reopened and what levels. Yesterday, we thought maybe we were getting there with that tweet from the Secretary of Energy, but that was quickly taken away, and we saw the market react.
Someone needs to fix Mike's crackle fucking mic problems right now.
Yeah, about the escorts. So, it's unclear whether the U.S. military will start escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz anytime soon. The European Union today said that would also be a...
Well, you got to think that puts our shit at kind of an unnecessary risk right now. That's the way the United States is going to look at it. But it's not off the table. Trump administration and Trump himself, the Pentagon has come out and said it's not off the table, but it is basically an unnecessary risk that we don't need right now, kind of thing.
Possibility for them if this situation continues, where we have real threat to global commerce. 20% of the world's energy oil supplies pass through the Strait of Hormuz, so it's really a vital choke point. And the prospect of it being shut down completely for a prolonged period of time has set markets on edge. So General Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said in his press conference to us yesterday that the conditions would have to be set and the resources would have to be available. And as someone who's covered the Pentagon for a long time, that suggests to me that this is still sort of a work in process, that they were still trying to figure out what they would need to do in order to have the conditions to safely escort ships through that vital maritime choke point.
And Jimmy Mack says, whose moose? Her moose. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into this next story here. Regards to Iran war, Trump addresses sleeper cells as well as Strait of Hormuz concerns. Let's go ahead and bring that up real quick, and we'll discuss that briefly.
We want to go right now. Joint Base Andrews, President Trump is speaking.
They are
This is last night.
absolutely being destroyed. Iran is being absolutely decimated. That's all I can say.
President Trump, what have you heard about this bulletin that some law enforcement put out about a possible Iran revenge plot in California, where there would be some kind of a boat offshore launching drones towards the...
It's being investigated, but you have a lot of things happening, and all we can do is take them as they come. And the war itself is being prosecuted as well as anybody has ever seen. And this is other countries telling me too. Big countries, powerful countries. They said they've never seen anything like it. And they also agree with what I'm doing. They say it's an evil country, and it's been for 47 years that way.
And if they try to hit us back, Have you been briefed about how many Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now?
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border. But we know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
Is it dozens?
Well,
They came in through the...
that's a big statement, but yeah, they did come in through Biden and as well, yeah, I mean, just Obama and Biden.
Open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst president in the history of our country. And we've got our eyes on all of them. But the war itself is being prosecuted at a level that nobody's seen before. It's pretty amazing to watch.
Can you give us a timeline on when you're planning to tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, a timeline of when that could happen?
We're going to be doing it very quickly, and then we'll fill it up. We'll fill up our reserves. You know, if you remember, I filled them up, and then I had a deal to go at the highest level, a level that's never been, and Schumer and the Democrats for $25, and it was turned down. You remember that, Peter. Almost before your time, but not quite. But it was, we had a deal at $25. Think of that, $25 a barrel, and the Democrats turned it down. We're going to tap it out like it's never been, but they turned that down, and now it's a lot higher.
Are you considering having the U.S. Treasury Department buy oil futures as a means to keep the oil prices down or bring the oil prices down?
We're going to be in very good shape. You see what's happening. They are pretty much at the end of the line. Doesn't mean we're going to end it immediately, but they've got no Navy, they've got no Air Force, they've got no anti-air traffic, anything. They have no systems of control. We're just riding free range over that country. And now we're going to look very strongly at the Straits. The Straits are in great shape. We've knocked out all of their boats. They have some missiles, but not very many. I think we're in very good shape. The main thing is we have to win this thing, win it quickly, but win it. And there are many people, I'm just watching some of the news. Most people say it's already been won. It's just a question of when. When do we stop? We don't want to let it regrow. And ideally would like to see somebody in there that knows what they're doing. In other words, they can build a country.
Real quick, we've got 264 people in here between both of the streams. Make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Hit that like button if you're on the horizontal. Listen, you don't have to like all this craziness that's happening around the world or here in the United States, but you guys can hit that like button for me and what we do here. So thank you guys for
Now,
that.
one other thing, we can hit sections of Tehran and other places that if you do it, it'll be almost impossible for them to rebuild their country. And we don't want that. But we can hit electric, we could take apart their electric capacity within 1 hour, and it would take them 25 years to rebuild it. So ideally, we're not going to be doing that. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks for the question.
Shit. Well, he's walking away. We're going to go ahead and get into the next story here. Alleged Iranian drone threat from offshore vessel targets California. Now, this was a little bit of a rumor, and there was a lot of things going on yesterday about this. And I haven't done an immense amount of research on this exact topic in full transparency. But I just think of like, well, these guys can't even keep their lights on. These guys can't keep their internet on. They've got their own worries right now. To think that they've got an offshore Iranian vessel that's over here sending Iranian drones to hit us in California is just pretty unrealistic.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. As attacks continue across the Middle East, some Americans are worried about threats closer to home, as the FBI has reportedly issued a bulletin to California police departments warning them about a potential Iranian plot to launch a drone attack against the west coast of.
Yeah, and I wonder what the FBI is truly thinking on that. Like, honestly, I want to know the actual details of this.
The U.S. This from the New York Post today, saying Iran plotting revenge terror attack on California with army of drones, as FBI reveals the terrifying details. So again, those California police departments being warned by the FBI about a potential plot for an Iranian drone attack on California. And a live look right now at San Francisco. Our partners at KTVU, reporter Henry Lee, has more on this reported plot.
The conflict in the Middle East now leading to potential threats of drone strikes by Iran in California. On Wednesday, Bay Area police agencies confirmed to KTVU they've received what's described as a cautionary warning with no evidence of any imminent attacks. The San Jose, Oakland, and San Francisco police departments all issuing statements saying they've been in contact with federal law enforcement about alleged drone threats that could impact the Bay Area, as first reported by ABC News. Oakland police say they were told there may be a heightened risk because of the situation in the Middle East and will monitor developments to determine if there's a need to increase police presence. I've confirmed that local agencies were told by the FBI that Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using unmanned aerial vehicles from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the United States homeland, specifically against unspecified targets in California, in the event that the U.S. conducted strikes against Iran. In San Francisco, the FBI declined to comment, but Mayor Daniel Lurie spoke out on the issue.
Have heard the same report, and we feel confident that we are on top of it, and we will always keep the people of San Francisco safe.
Governor Newsom saying he too is aware of the drone alert and the state is prepared for any emergency.
Drone issues have been always top of mind, and we've assembled some work groups specifically around those.
Now, I saw this last night. Gavin Newsom coming out and talking about this. Pretty funny.
Concerns.
Newsom says he's directed the State Office of Emergency Services to elevate its security posture and to continue sharing information around the clock.
I think the threat is minimal.
Andrew Black is a former FBI agent in San Francisco who's now public safety chief at the University of Hawaii at Manoa.
I'm very doubtful they have the capability of striking the U.S. from unmanned aerial vehicles.
Right.
Off the coast of California.
I'm not dismissing the possibility that it could occur.
Sharif Ibrahim.
What?
Why are you gay?
He's a former member of the UC Berkeley bomb squad.
But if it could elicit the fear of terror in the population of California, that has a greater impact than potentially the harm of a hobby drone carrying some kind of device.
That was KTVU's Henry Lee reporting on that reported plot for an Iranian drone attack. The FBI warning California police departments about this. And California Governor Gavin Newsom also posting about this on X today, saying, I am in constant coordination with security and intelligence officials, including at the California Office of Emergency Services, to monitor potential threats to California, including those tied to the conflict in the Middle East. While we are not aware of any imminent threats at this time, we remain prepared for any emergency in our state. Now, for more on this.
All right. We don't need more on this because I think it's bullshit, and we're going to move on. All right. So something that does affect all of us is oil jumps back above $100 a barrel amid the Iran conflict. Now, when Trump came out and a few days ago or whatever it was, I think it was four days ago or something. I can't remember. Anyways, he came out and said that the war is almost over. It's coming to an end. And we actually saw basically right away that oil prices went down by 30%. Well, now they have gone back up, and no one is surprised by that, to be honest. So here we go.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Calafi with some breaking news from the Associated Press, saying the price of a barrel of Brent crude oil, the international standard, has topped $100 early Thursday. That's just days after it spiked near $120 in the latest jolt to financial markets and the global economy as a whole. Now, this, of course, happening as Iran's attacks on shipping worsen supply concerns. Iran has targeted oil fields and refineries in Gulf Arab nations and effectively stopped cargo traffic through the narrow Strait of Hormuz. That is the passageway where a fifth of all traded oil passes through. A lot of that conflict, of course, happening in the Strait of Hormuz.
By the way, 20% of the globe's oil goes through the strait.
Hormuz, as Iran
20% is a lot.
To block vessels from traveling through there. We also have news from President Trump earlier today saying that the U.S. is going to tap into petroleum reserves. This from the from the U.S. Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, saying President Trump authorized the Department of Energy to release 172 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
This is exactly what Mr. Mister was pointing out earlier in the chat, by the way. I pay attention.
Beginning next week. This will take approximately 120 days to deliver based on planned discharge rates. Again, the newest update from the Associated Press, Crude oil jumping above $100 a barrel as Iran's attacks on shipping worsen supply concerns, and no signs of letting up in that conflict. Much of it happening in the Strait of Hormuz. Again, that is a vital passageway for the global oil trade. Roughly a fifth of all global oil passes through that.
That's exactly what I just said, 20%, which is a fifth. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on into the next story here. Hezbollah up there in Lebanon, Beirut is usually where they're really heavily occupied, right there in southern Lebanon. But nonetheless, Hezbollah launches 200 rockets at northern Israel. Let's go ahead and bring that up, and we'll discuss this.
I want to bring us out to this live images that we continue to have over in Jerusalem, Israel. And this comes as just a few minutes ago, in fact, the Associated Press reporting that Hezbollah launched some 200 rockets at Israel's north and deeper into
Hey, I appreciate that, Leah.
the country
Hopefully
overnight.
you're enjoying your morning.
That's according
Great
to
to
the
see you.
Israeli military. Many rockets were intercepted and no serious injuries were reported. Now, sirens started blaring Wednesday evening across the north and continued almost nonstop for hours, warning of incoming attacks from Lebanon and Iran. The explosions and interceptions overheard were so loud that some people were dashing outside. They spoke to some residents down there on the ground in Israel. And I do want to get some more perspectives from the ground. So joining us next is...
And real quick, before we do, we've got 237 people in here between the two streams right now. Make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Make sure you hit that like button on the horizontal. Much love, honor, respect to all of you guys for your laborious work on that.
Going to be Alex Trayman. He is the CEO and Jerusalem bureau chief at the Jewish News Syndicate. Alex, good morning and thanks for joining.
Good morning, Carl.
So as you saw there, I mean, those strikes do continue on. A lot of these proxy groups, Iran as a whole, continuing to launch strikes in Israel. I want to get the overview sense as to what you're seeing on the ground. You are there based in Jerusalem.
Yes, well, Hezbollah seems to have entered the war in a maximum capacity right now, as you mentioned, firing 200 missiles at Israel in the last 24 hours or so. Iran also seemingly able to continue to launch a ballistic missile salvo.
Now, you got to remember, Israel is at the same time of this whole war with Iran. They're fucking up Hezbollah up there in Beirut, Lebanon. Like, I mean, pretty bad. We reported on some of that Monday, I believe. But yeah, so this is probably retaliation against Israel, obviously, for them fucking them up.
At Israel, there's been 4 launches since midnight already, and Israelis have been going in and out of shelters in what seems to be coordinated attacks now from Iran and Hezbollah into Israel.
I want to bring us out to this. It's a social media post courtesy of the IDF saying about 70 terror targets were struck, including terrorist infrastructure, weapons storage facilities, central headquarters, key terrorists, and an IRGC Air Force headquarters in Beirut. Now, going back to some of these launches that Israel is conducting, those military operations, Alex, I want to ask, what have been the most effective strategies when the IDF has been targeting that infrastructure, but also keeping Israeli civilians safe from any counterattacks?
Obviously, Israel wants to hit the launchers, which prevent Hezbollah or Iran from being able to fire on Israeli population centers. But what we've seen is that really Hezbollah has rebuilt much of their chain of command. You'll recall that Israel had taken out Hassan Nasrallah, Fuad Shukr, the number 2 of Hezbollah, had taken out about 3,000 members of the mid-level command with that beeper episode, and was hoping that Hezbollah was largely deterred. But as you could see very clearly, they have been rebuilding at a quite rapid pace in order to get ready for what would be the next round of fighting, and that is this round. And the feeling here in Israel that the IDF and Israel need to go all the way, that there cannot be any more filing back of Hezbollah or filing back of Iran, that there needs to be a fundamental change where there's no possibility for Hezbollah to attack Israel in the future.
And so it's interesting because you're talking about this rapidly rebuilding of the terrorist organizations here, even though they are continuing to be struck by Israel, also U.S. forces as well. What or who is credited with that rapid rebuilding, and how are they able to continue to coordinate and launch these attacks?
Well, we see that based on what Israel's been doing inside Lebanon is that they've actually been attacking Iranian and IRGC members and infrastructure inside Lebanon. So Iran has been at the focal point, the head of this terror octopus, not giving up on their strongest terror problem.
Terror octopus. That's what he's calling the axis of resistance. I've never heard it called that before. That's interesting.
Which is Hezbollah, and still diverting as much money and resources as they can to these terror entities. They're just hell-bent on attacking Israel, and they want Israel to engage in full-out war to see a battle of who's going to win.
Speaking of Lebanon, this is a live image that we also continue to have over in Beirut, as you know. And as we've been reporting, Israel continuing to target those strikes, or those infrastructure sites, I should say, there in Beirut. Alex, we've been focused a lot about some of these air operations, but I also want to talk about recent developments on the ground. So in terms of what the IDF is doing now and where they're prioritizing ground troops, how does that stand today?
Well, we're seeing more and more ground troops entering into southern Lebanon with the strong belief here in Israel that there will be a massive ground incursion into southern Lebanon. Questions about the timing, because obviously if Israel is going to launch a ground operation, they want to have full air cover.
I saw that in the Discord, but I haven't actually looked at the what's actually happening there. I didn't research it yet.
Supporting those ground troops. And right now, the majority of Israeli air is focused on strikes inside Iran. We could see that change over the next hours and days ahead, where more and more air resources will need to be diverted to be fighting inside Lebanon. There's the possibility that the United States may enter the war against Hezbollah in Lebanon. But the feeling is that Israeli ground troops will go into southern Lebanon and quite likely to actually take control of.
Man, I really hope that we don't fucking go to war with Hezbollah next. I would really appreciate us not doing that. Bring it fucking home.
Much of the land up until the Litani River and possibly beyond, which is about
we got Brother Hardwire up in the building. Shout out to my man.
17 miles north of the Israeli border to make sure that that area, that region, can no longer be used as a staging ground for attacks on Israel.
Alex, in Iran, we do know that the country has selected a new supreme leader, but Moshtaba Khamenei still has yet to be seen. Now, does that elusiveness contribute to any change when it comes to Israeli strategy as this war continues?
Well, I don't know about Moshtaba Khamenei and his whereabouts. It seems, as according to most reports, that he was injured severely, if not killed, in Israeli attacks. And this is the reason why he's not been seen. Some reports say he's not conscious or does not even know that he's the supreme leader at this point. But what we have seen reports of is that there are...
I heard that he lost his leg.
Israeli and or American drones operating now inside Iran, and they are attacking these checkpoints that have been set up by the Basij in order to prevent protests from gaining steam and momentum inside Iran. And people are saying that these surprise drone attacks could be the equivalent of the beeper attacks inside Lebanon over a year and a half ago. So we're seeing now that the strategy is shifting inside Iran, not only just to hit at the ballistic missile and nuclear infrastructure, but actually at the Basij itself, preparing the groundwork to allow the Iranians to get back into the streets and do the dirty work of taking over their regime.
I want to turn now to the economic impact of this war. It has been a major headline since it first started, and we do have a live image of a radar system here in the Strait of Hormuz. So you can see some of these ships there and the maritime efforts at this time. Now, with this being a concern for countries around the world, Alex, how has Israel been navigating this impact when it comes to that global energy supply and the disruptions?
Well, I think when it comes to the energy supply, you're really talking mostly about the responsibility of the United States. And Israel's not getting any oil from Iran. 20% of the world's oil is going, and LNG, liquefied natural gas, is going through the Straits of Hormuz. For the president of the United States, Donald Trump, this is a priority to get oil flowing. We've seen how oil prices have gone up significantly, although it's kind of been a bit of a balance up and down, certainly elevated costs even now. But you see now that around the world, they're talking about freeing up energy reserves in order to sustain to make up for the lack of oil traveling through the straits. But certainly for the United States, it's going to be a major priority to get those straits open as soon as possible in order to keep energy prices down and prices.
Yeah, by the way, Papa Penguin, this reminds me of I mean, it just tells the importance of why I'm doing what I'm doing this Saturday with Bama Carry, the gun, Alabama's #1 gun rights group there is. I'm glad that I'm attending because we're always fighting, right? So
of consumer
freedom isn't talked about; it's fought for.
Goods down in the United States and elsewhere.
I also want to get to another social media post from the Israel Defense Forces. The IDF does continue to update the public on some of those operations and what's happening. They said this within 30 minutes. I do believe this was a few hours ago that they posted this, but they say the IDF struck 10 Hezbollah terror headquarters in the Dahiya area, including intelligence headquarters, a Radwan unit headquarters, and additional command centers. During the strike, the IDF eliminated dozens of Hezbollah terrorists while they were preparing launches toward Israel and dismantled dozens of launchers ready to fire. The IDF will not tolerate any...
Man, the IDF struck 10 Hezbollah terror headquarters. Damn.
harm to the residents of the state of Israel. And this just goes back to your point earlier in the conversation, Alex, of the latest developments down there in the region, specifically when it comes to Hezbollah. I want to turn now, though, to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, what message has he been conveying recently, now that we're approaching 2 weeks of this war? What is he trying to tell not just Israeli citizens, but the rest of the world?
Good question.
Well, that this battle will go on as long as necessary in order to get a victory. I think that the president and the prime minister both, are not going to sign some kind of a ceasefire agreement at this point. They're going to go all the way to get a victory, because if they don't, it's basically a guarantee that you're going to be fighting this war again in 6 months or a year or two. So certainly for the prime minister, trying to convince the Israeli public to continue doing what they need to do to keep themselves safe, to exercise patience. It's certainly very difficult, I would say, for Israelis to have to be ducking in and out of bomb shelters multiple times a day. You're talking like 5, 6, 10 times a day, depending on where you live. It causes a lot of anxiety. So the prime minister, just urging the Israeli public to stay patient, that the IDF is doing the job, and that hopefully at the end of this battle, it will be the last for many years.
And then, Alex, really my final question for you would be, you have joined us here on the program since the start of these strikes almost every day, providing that update from Israel. As we see how all of this is progressing and evolving, what do our viewers need to keep in mind as we watch for what's going to come next within these operations?
Good question.
Again, that Iran is not only targeting Israel in this war, and it's not just Hezbollah and Iran striking against Israel, while the United States and Israel are striking at Iran and Hezbollah, but rather that Iran has hit at more than a dozen countries across the Middle East, and they've been lashing out in every direction. What you're actually seeing is that countries that you might have assumed were allied with Iran or would have been supporting Iran in this campaign have turned against Iran. Iran is completely isolated here. The entire Gulf, the entire region, Europe, others, all recognizing that Iran is the major source of destabilization in the Middle East and the world's largest state sponsor of terror. So you're definitely seeing a united front to make.
Well, there is no doubt that, yes, they do fund the Axis of Resistance and basically are the help of, even drone production for Russia. For their war up there. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into our very last final story. But first before we do, we need to embrace our fuck ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Embrace thy process. All right, so we're going to get into our final story here. Iran's new supreme leader issues his very first statement. So let's go ahead and bring this up and discuss it. Here we go.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. If you are just tuning in, we wanted to quickly recap this breaking news here for you, as Iran's new supreme leader has released his first message. And he did not appear on camera. This is the video that we did get in here. And this was not in English, but we are getting some translation from the Associated Press. They have this live feed.
This just came out minutes before we started the live stream this morning.
Update. And so I wanted to share this post here with you and just share with you what we do know from that video message. So Khamenei issued that first statement as the war with the U.S. and Israel continues, once again, not appearing on camera. He says, quote, avenging the blood of your martyrs is a top priority, and that attacks on Gulf Arab neighbors will continue. He called for retaliation for every Iranian death. And here,
wow. Hold on. I got to bring this back and hear that shit again.
He says, quote, avenging the blood of your martyrs is a top priority, and that attacks on Gulf Arab neighbors will continue.
Wow, that's a big statement.
He called for retaliation for every Iranian death. And here is the quote that I read before the break. It says, I assure everyone that we will not refrain from avenging the blood of your martyrs. The retaliation we have in mind is not limited only to the martyrdom of the great leader of the revolution. Rather, every member of the nation who is martyred by the enemy constitutes a separate case in the file of revenge. He goes on to say a limited portion of this retaliation has already taken tangible form, but until it is fully achieved, this file will remain open above other cases. We will be especially sensitive regarding the blood of our children. Now, we also do know that he is threatening Gulf neighbors in the first statement of the war that was just released. And this is another quote here saying, the demand of the masses is the continuation of an effective and regret-inducing defense. But of note here, before I share the rest of this quote, Israeli intelligence assessed that he has already been likely wounded here. But going on to say the lever of closing.
I've heard that he's actually lost his leg since this whole ordeal.
The Strait of Hormuz must certainly continue to be used as well. Studies have also been conducted on opening other fronts in which the enemy has little experience and would be highly vulnerable. Khamenei goes on to say, our sincere thanks to our brave fighters who, at the time when our nation and beloved homeland had been unjustly attacked by the leaders of the Front of Arrogance, have blocked the enemy's path with their powerful blows and dispelled their illusion of being able to dominate our beloved country or possibly divide it. Some other notes here that we got from that statement is that Iran's top leader now saying, quote, we will obtain compensation from the enemy, or another quote, we will destroy its assets to the same extent. And as we just shared with you,
because that's the only thing that you can actually hit, because it's stationary. That's the only thing that you can attempt to hit right now.
Also did say that leverage of closing the Strait of Hormuz should be used, as we have been seeing gasoline prices rising largely because of the Iran war's impact on the Strait of Hormuz. And that's that crucial passageway for oil and gas from the Persian Gulf. The waterway off Iran's coast, now effectively closed, is so vital for the global economy that governments are working on blueprints to quickly reopen it to shipping. I also wanted to share this here with you as well. We did hear from President Trump just moments ago as he shared this to Truth Social, saying the United States is the largest oil producer in the world by far. So when oil prices go up, we make a lot of money. But of far greater interest and importance to me as president is stopping an evil empire, Iran, from having nuclear weapons and destroying the Middle East and indeed the world. I won't ever let that happen. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Real quick, yes, Charles, that would be a terrible, terrible decision to do, boots on the ground. I mean, for us going into their terrain, that would be a very, very bad idea. And what's up? We got Art in the building. Shout out to you guys as well.
So as we continue to learn more about this, we did just want to share with you that statement, as you see on your screen, being released moments ago, not in English, but we did want to share this break.
And not on camera, which is not surprising because the reports are that he just lost his leg. Anyway, so I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Obviously, I cannot do this shit without you guys. I'm very appreciative of being able to do this Monday through Friday with you guys. And then, of course, members only for Saturday morning. Now, this weekend, unfortunately, we have to do an oddity here. We have to adjust Saturday morning for members only. Unfortunately, we have to move it into Sunday at 10 in the morning, CST. So, anyways, we're going to be back tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. Stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding our buddy Black Dragon. He's live right now. He may be ending. Who knows? This is usually around the time he's ending. So, he may have already ended. I don't know. So, anyways, God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon. And be safe out there.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning.